Have you ever wondered what really goes on inside a trader's mind during a high-stakes week? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain. We're going to follow a trader named Ali Payne through 5 super intense days, and we're going to decode his strategies, his lingo, and yeah, the huge psychological battle that plays out with every single win and loss.
So here's our game plan for breaking this all down. First up, we've got to learn the language. Then we'll watch a live trade unfold right as the market opens. After that, we're diving deep into the psychology, the post-game analysis, and finally, we'll get to the single biggest lesson from the whole week.
All right, to really get into the action, you and I need to speak the language. These are the core concepts that Ali Payne is looking for every single morning. This is his essential toolkit for making sense of all the chaos.
First on the list is the Fab 4. Just think of this as the battlefield map for the morning. It's the price range that gets set in those first few chaotic minutes. And Ali points out something really crucial here. If this range is too wide, that's a major warning sign. It tells him a stock might not have the momentum, the follow-through that he needs for a trade to work.
Okay, next up, we've got the bull or bear 180. This is a super powerful reversal signal. I mean, just look at the example. A bear 180 is when a big red candle just completely swallows the previous green one. For Ali, this isn't just some random pattern. He actually calls it one of his stronger plays. It's a signal that basically screams, it's time to act.
And then there's the elephant bar. The name is perfect, right? It's exactly what it sounds like, a huge, undeniable price bar that just dwarfs everything around it. When Ali spots one of these, especially near a key price level, it's like a 5-alarm fire, a massive surge in pressure that he absolutely cannot ignore.
And finally, we have the tail bar. See that long wick? It's basically the picture of a fight. The price tried with all its might to go one way, and then it got violently shoved back. Ali calls this a potent tool, and it's a setup he absolutely hates to miss, and we're going to see that come up again in his daily reviews.
Okay, so enough with the theory. Let's see how all this lingo actually plays out in a real trade. We're jumping to Monday morning, right at the opening bell, where a few of these concepts are about to collide.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, because we see how a trade can fail even with a strong signal. So Ali spots a bull 180 on Exxon. It looks like a textbook setup. He takes the trade, but it immediately goes south and he takes a max loss. So what was the culprit? Well, later he figures it out. That Fab 4 zone was just too wide, which basically killed any chance of a strong follow-through. It was the right signal, but in totally the wrong environment.
And that loss brings us to what is honestly often the hardest part of trading. It's got nothing to do with reading charts. It's all about managing the person reading the charts. It all comes down to psychology.
You know, a fascinating and kind of frustrating pattern starts to emerge throughout the week. Ali will make a great, disciplined trade and get and win. And then he'll immediately follow it up with what he calls a bad trade, just giving those profits right back. This exact thing happens on Wednesday, and it really forces him to ask himself some tough questions.
And this quote right here, man, it just gets to the very heart of that internal battle. He's questioning his own motives. Is it greed? Is it just overconfidence? Why would he risk a good day's work on a bad impulse trade? It's this kind of raw honesty that shows you the real game isn't happening on the screen. It's happening between your ears.
And this isn't just a one-time thing. We see the exact same psychological domino effect play out on Thursday. He takes an initial loss on Exxon, and it's immediately followed by another impulsive trade. One mistake just triggers another, and the loss gets bigger. It just goes to show you how quickly discipline can completely crumble under pressure.
So, how do you fight back against these mental traps and technical mistakes? Well, the answer is a rigorous, brutally honest review. Let's take a look at how Ali uses hindsight to sharpen his edge for the very next day. This comparison from his Wednesday review is just fantastic. On the left, you see the trade he actually took, a bull 180 that made a small profit. Okay, fine. But on the right is the trade he missed, a perfect tail bar setup that would have been a much, much bigger winner. This just shows his review process isn't about being right or wrong. It's about being optimal. His review also shines a light on where being too cautious actually cost him money. On Tuesday, he absolutely nails the entry on a bear 180, one of his go-to patterns. But then he gets spooked and exits way too early, leaving most of the profit on the table. It's such a painful reminder to trust the very signals he works so hard to find. After that compounded loss on Thursday, Ali just sums up the entire process in 4 simple words. You live and you learn. And that really becomes the theme for the entire week. It's this constant cycle of trying, failing, reviewing, and then getting a little bit better.
So after a full week of making trades, battling his own emotions, and reviewing every single move, what are the key principles that start to bubble up? What are the final lessons that get forged in the fire of the market?
You know, when you really boil it all down, success isn't about one big secret. It's a collection of a bunch of small, disciplined habits. It's managing your risk before you even enter the trade. It's trusting your best patterns during the trade. It's letting your winners run. And after the trade is over, it's about brutal honesty, reviewing what you did versus what you should have done, and acknowledging those psychological traps that are always waiting for you.
And that right there brings us to the ultimate goal. It's not about being perfect. It's definitely not about finding some flawless system. Like Ali says himself, it's about the relentless pursuit of small, consistent progress. It's all about getting a little better every day.
And that leaves us with one last question. After watching all the technical analysis, the emotional roller coaster, and the constant self-critique, you really have to wonder, is the real challenge here mastering the charts, or is it mastering yourself?